For the best part of 7 years, doctors used powers given to them by the Mental Health Act to keep Kate locked up, or sectioned as it's often described, because of her severe depression.
I was detained lots of times, sometimes by the police, once held down on the floor in A&E. You always feel scared, terrified, confused and powerless, so powerless.
Last year in England, 50,000 people were detained using this law. And now an independent review has proposed modernising it so that sectioning someone for compulsory treatment becomes a last resort. Patients get the right to legally challenge the treatment they're getting, and everyone at risk of being sectioned writes a legal document setting out in advance their preferred treatment choices if they become ill.
The whole thing will be balanced, that instead of the default position being to ignore a patient's view, sadly, now it'll be the opposite. The default position will be to accept it, and the doctor will have to make the case why we shouldn't. So it's completely the opposite of how it is at the moment.
The review demands an end to the use of police cells for people who've been sectioned. Last year that happened 400 times. And better services for ethnic minorities, as black people are 4 times more likely to be detained. It also makes clear the trauma of compulsory treatment often makes people worse. That was certainly Georgie's experience after she was detained for anorexia.
I definitely feel like the Mental Health Act was actually more detrimental to me than my illness. My fight ended up being against, being restrained all the time and being medicated rather than against my eating disorder, which is what I was supposed to be in there to be fighting against.
The government has promised to move quickly, drafting new legislation in the new year. But the review stresses that must go hand in hand with more investment in the mental health services that keep people well, a better law being no substitute for better care. Catherine Jones, 5 News.